Welcome back to another Tim Cain reaction. This one is being happy. Let's learn how to be happy with Tim, because Tim always seems happy. He's got the formula figured out.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Today I want to talk about being happy. Yeah, I just want to talk about being happy. It's a fun Friday. It's in the middle of June. It's Pride Month. Happy Pride, everybody.
It's Tuesday.
And yes, I will mention being gay a little bit at the end of the video, just to warn the pearl clutchers, especially the people who've said I talk about being gay too much, which I checked. I've only had
We've watched like what, over 100 videos of his, and maybe he's mentioned it like 3 times.
three
Exactly.
Pride
Right.
videos and very few videos where I talk about being gay out of over 500. In fact,
Weirdos.
out of 565 videos. So I think you can handle it. But feel free to tune out at this point because I know you don't like hearing about happy gay people. Anyway, I almost called this video Be Happy, but that sounded like a command, like be happy.
Do it.
And what I really mean is, hey, maybe I can give you a recipe for being happy, because I've talked about on this channel so much about being constructive. When you're making video games, it helps way more to be constructive than to be destructive.
This is true. I mean, I agree with that. I think it's really tough to be positive and happy in the gaming industry. I mean, with all the layoffs, with people attacking you. I mean, even if you're a gamer, I mean, you have developers that you maybe even once respected attacking you or having very exclusive like communities, for instance. Maybe they put bad moderators in charge, and this can affect your perception of the games, your perception of the company, the perception of the industry. There are people on either side of the DEI aisle for whatever reasons, maybe some justified, maybe some not. And there's no doubt that there are some games, some genres, some communities that are extremely toxic, and others that start off great but then deteriorate. Yeah, it's tough, and it's just tough being happy in general these days. It seems like if you are happy and content in life, you are among the minority at the moment. Everybody's getting more extreme. People aren't communicating in, I think, as healthy ways as they used to. It's tough being happy. And I think being happy is different than being content, right? Or being satisfied. I think these are all very different. These have different meanings behind them. I'm not very satisfied with how much money I make, but I'm not unhappy when I wake up in the morning. I'm happy with the work that I do, even though it is sometimes very difficult, very challenging, and very frustrating, especially when I can't fix certain bugs. But I still enjoy what I do, and this is still the passion and love that I have is developing games. So yeah, it's tough. I don't know what my formula is, but maybe Tim will mention some things that I can say, oh yeah, you know what, I do that too, and that does help.
So I thought about that. What can I do about telling you, the viewers, just how to be happy? Especially in this day and age where sometimes it seems like a lot of things are out there to try to make you not be happy.
Right?
First, and this is probably the most important thing, this may be first and foremost and only, please stop rage watching videos and rage playing games. I do not understand this behavior, but you need to stop. There's so many people out there that seem to play video games that they hate.
Yes.
Just so they can go online and then spend lots of time talking about these games that they hate.
All right. Who are the MMO enjoyers in chat? Who did he just call out? Come on. Just say it. Who's playing Apex? Who's playing Over? Actually, who the hell even plays Over? Who's playing League of Legends and Counter-Strike, okay? People are petty and have nothing better to do. Yeah, the rage content is really weird. Like, if you don't enjoy it, just don't do it. I don't get it. Like, I stopped enjoying playing certain games, and I'll just be like, you know what? Okay, fine. Fine, I will go play literally any other game. Or, God forbid, I open up a multiplayer game, and it's really toxic, or there are cheaters, and it's like, okay, fine. I'm just not going to play that. Into Deadlock for a while, but it really did take so much out of me. I think the modern multiplayer game landscape is not the same as it used to be. I mean, and that's not to say that it was always perfect and happy. I mean, everybody was in a Call of Duty lobby at some point in their childhood. But it felt like it was you were upset at the people and not at the game or the developers. I don't know. MMOs were different too. People feel too invested to quit. I think there is some of that, yeah. Absolutely some of that. And they want it to be the way that they remember it being, but they might have like the nostalgia factor.
And I've mentioned this before, but it's way more constructive for you just to find ones you like. And
Studios.
don't tell me you can't find those. And don't tell me there are no video games being made out there for you, because there were literally hundreds of thousands of games on Steam. There's going to be games on there, I guarantee it, that are perfect for you. You have to go find them. And a lot of you are like, well, I don't know what to do. Guess what? It can be really fun looking for them. Steam has a return policy, so don't worry. Grab a game, don't like it, return it.
He's right. He's right. You got 2 hours. They won't ask any questions. If you return the game in under 2 hours of gameplay, you can give it back. And you know what? I'll even go a step further. Tim might not agree. Just pirate a game. If you really want more than 2 hours to try a game, and you want to do it at your own pace and own time, pirate the game. If you like it, consider buying it. If not, don't buy it.
Look for games that you like, because you'll be happier. I guarantee it, because you're playing a game that you think is fun and that makes you happy. But then your money goes towards people who made that game and increase the odds that they make you a sequel,
Yep.
which makes everybody happy.
Especially
And
the developers. I can
this
say
is
that.
where things get a little weird, because I did a video where I mentioned my games not getting sequels, and I basically said they didn't sell well enough. That's why you didn't get any sequels.
Sucks.
I mean, I also threw in there, which seemed to get ignored, I don't really like doing sequels as much. I like making original IP, original games based on new IP. That's my, if I had my choice, that's all I would ever do. But if one of my games doesn't sell,
We need more people like Tim in the industry. But the reality is that sequels are safe and they usually sell well because you had confirmation with the first game that people really liked it. That's why you made a lot of money. And it's you have time to rectify it. I think that like a number 2 for a game is usually pretty great because you did most things right and you made enough money that you can rectify all your wrongs, explore things a little bit deeper, add some more mechanics, reuse a lot of your materials and meshes and whatever for the sequel, and then just build up and do it properly. But then you start getting the third game and it's like, well, what can you really do with this? Fourth game, whatever. But I agree. I do enjoy exploring new IPs and challenging myself. And if I am making a sequel, there's usually not a whole lot of challenge left. But it depends on the sequel, and it depends on how the first game went.
sell very well. Of course, it's not going to get a sequel, because whoever put the money in, whether it's a publisher
Yep.
or investors or whatever, they're not going to throw good money after bad. But what was interesting is someone tweeted after that video. It was something like, I don't know, it's been deleted now, but they said something like, hear me out. Maybe if you made better games, they'd get sequels. And I can only imagine that person didn't watch the video, because I have a whole video. And you know what? I'll link that video below, the one on my data on my own games, where I've already dismissed the idea that quality of a game is not equal to sales of the game.
That's true.
You
That's true. You can make a fantastic game, and there can be numerous reasons why it financially doesn't succeed. You can even make a bad game, and there can be numerous reasons why it does financially well. I mean, and bad and good are subjective, right? I don't really want to argue the semantics or the meanings behind those, but you can just spend too much money on a game with too small of a niche, and it doesn't attract people outside of that niche. And therefore, there is pretty much nothing you can do to ensure that you will be financially successful with that game. Even if the game is top tier, best game of that genre ever made, if there aren't enough people who will buy that genre of game, you're kind of out of luck here. Like, there's nothing else you can do with it.
of the game. You all know games that got huge budgets, that sold a lot of units, or that were in development for a long time, but they're not that good.
And budget really is what it comes down to here, where if you we talk about this all the time with like AAA games. If you spend $400 million on your AAA game, that game is going to need to make over $1 billion in order to be considered financially successful, because you have investors, and investors want profit. And if you are just making the money back that they invested, then they're not making a profit, and therefore you are a bad investment for them. So you need to the only two things you can do to really improve sales is to widen the market is going to buy your game, and or increase the price of your game. Though this has diminishing returns, right? After a certain point, you actually start to lose potential sales because people don't think the game is worth the value. But let's rephrase this to pricing your game to a point where you're not losing those sales, right? So usually you see with the games that have these $400 million price tags on them, and like I said, need to make over $1 billion in revenue to be considered financially successful, then they'll paint their game with a very broad brush. It won't really be controversial. It's going to have systems in it that are very accessible. Maybe the difficulty isn't too hard. The puzzles are going to be extremely easy, because they don't want to filter any players out that might result in a refund or a negative review, which will result in fewer purchases of the game as well, right? So that's why you see a game like Dragon Age Veilguard that comes out, has nothing interesting to say, has like, I don't think any blood in it, had no nudity except I think for one character, which was Tosh. Take of that what you will. And it was just such a lukewarm game that had nothing interesting to say, because if you try to say something interesting, usually by most people's standards, that means that it made them think or challenged their morals or ethics. Because if you challenge the morals or ethics of your audience, you might filter some people out, right? Because now they don't want to see those controversial messages or something. Do survival games usually sell pretty well? Yeah, but it's such a broad genre. Like, there's so many different types of survival games. But yes, survival games is a very well-selling genre. But that doesn't mean that you can make a survival game and have it be successful, because it is also a very competitive genre.
And everybody likes to throw out the if sales meant quality, and then that means McDonald's has the best hamburger on the planet, which we all know isn't true. It's not bad. It's
Value, familiarity, comfort, and familiarity is one of the most important things to gauge when determining if you should make a game. People like comfortable. When they see your artsy fartsy, I'm a, top tier 5,000 IQ game designer, here's my really deep game that, nobody's ever seen before because I want to design my own genre. Guess what? It's also not going to be familiar to anybody. And they're going to look at it and say, should I spend $10 on this game that, isn't, I don't see anything that it was trying to base off of, it's trying to be its own weird genre, or should I go spend $10 on Terraria? I'll tell you where people will spend the $10.
consistent. But anyway, the whole quality versus sales thing is just, we threw that out the window.
Terraria's a good game, by the way.
But let's talk about comments, because that was interesting. That wasn't a comment on my video. It was someone commenting on my video on Twitter. But speaking of comments on my videos, there are some people who seem to like to rage watch my videos. All their comments are negative, and they've been watching since almost the beginning. Like, they literally have dozens of just, this is stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, you talk too much. Somebody commented on a Yap video, and I had to look that up, which is just a video where someone talks about something.
What did you expect? It's a 10-minute video about a topic. What is he supposed to do? Just sit there and stare for 10 minutes? I don't know. People are weird, man.
Seemingly inconsequential. And I'm like, well, by that definition, all my videos are Yap videos. Why did it take 560 of them to figure that out?
Tim, they are Yap videos. But I like your yapping, okay? And I like to yap over your videos. And if you ever want to, I would love to yap with you for hours on end about game design. We're going to reach out to him this year.
I like making these videos. And it seems like a lot of you like hearing them. I've been doing this for a long time. Um, I've been making video games since 1981. So, of course, I have a lot of stories to
All
tell.
right,
And I
Grandpa.
love seeing comments from people who are getting a lot out of these videos and have decided to go make a game or go back to making games in part because of this channel. It makes me super happy because one of my super selfish goals is to get you guys making games in the hopes that that makes a lot more games out there and then games I'll like and I get to play those games. So,
Everyone benefits when there are more good games in the market. I 100% agree. Um, I think that you'll see this a lot with passionate people like Tim. Is just that is one of their goals, especially when they retire, is they want to share their knowledge because they will feel as if they die with the knowledge and experience that they've obtained. That I, I I think this, you can trace this back to their reasons for getting into the industry. And passionate people who love games got into the industry because they love games, and some game or number of games was consequential to them getting into the industry because they, for me, it's Uncharted. I played Uncharted. I always wanted to be a game developer when I was a kid because I love games. But it was Uncharted 1 that I played, and I fell in love so much that I was like, I want to be somebody who thinks of these types of games. I was thinking of games, of course. I want to be the idea person. Obviously, that's not what game design is. And that was a bit of a shock for me when I first started to get into game design. But I fell in love with what game design actually ended up being. And so for me, it's, when I see games like that, I want to recreate those emotions and experiences and encourage other people to get into the industry too by making games that they play and are like, wow, this is really fun. How can I, make this? I agree, Tim. I'm with you.
those games. So, I've been completely non-secretive about a sub goal of this channel is to get you guys to make games I like. But the real goal is just, hey guys, here's what development is like. I hear stories about development, here are processes I use that helped me, and I hope it helps you. The weird thing is, no one forces you to watch this, and you're literally watching on YouTube, which has millions of other videos that can be streamed with a click. And
You can watch nude yoga and Cocomelon. But no, you instead watch Tim Kane's videos and get angry.
And I don't understand why people just wouldn't be happier watching some of those videos. I don't understand people who seek out videos they don't like just to comment on them. I mentioned this to a colleague, one of my colleagues who thinks I'm very naive and optimistic. And he said, well, it's rage posting. They like it. They either like being mad or they like baiting people. They love it when they post something and they get all these comments and they're like, I'm making other people mad. They
Well, I think some of that has to do with like power and influence, which is, part of like the social hierarchy. So the more you have, the more the stronger you feel within the hierarchy, right? If we are lobster brained like that. And I think too, there is an aspect of people who bond. This is just natural chemistry, by the way, is that humans bond stronger over mutual hate than mutual love. So when you get together with somebody and you talk about how much you hate, I don't know, insert famous person here, then you'll form a stronger connection than bonding over something that you both have in common. I wish it wasn't that way, but that is the way that it is, and it kind of sucks. So that's why you kind of have like the news cycle will, post all the bad stuff and none of the good things that humans do. Because it gets more clicks, it's more emotional, and they can play on to that, and it just spirals and spirals and spirals. You can do what now? Watch what? Nothing.
and they're like, I'm making other people mad. They think that's funny. And I'm like, but that's just really sad. And he said, I know that, you know that. Nothing will ever convince them of that. And I'm
True.
like, okay.
Sadly, true.
By the way, I know there's people who watch this who like to leave comments, and if I respond to your comment, they love it, and that's great. I love responding to comments, and I will tell you, I read all the comments still on this channel. I can't respond to all of them. There's just way too many, but I do read them all. Part of it's because I can always tell YouTube Studio has a way of saying, show me all the comments I have not responded to, and also it can show you the comments you haven't even read with a little dot next to them. So I know I can go through and read the ones I haven't read yet. But I just want to say to the people who post negative stuff, hoping they'll get a response or something, um, you know that's not healthy, right? I just this is me telling you, you know that's not healthy. This is not.
Technically, Tim, technically making this video is responding to them. I hate it. I hate it, but technically they might get some jubilation over the fact that you made a video and mentioned the fact that you got hate comments. I don't know, man. People, if you're in a, here's my top 10 tips of life advice. Number 1, don't be a drunkard like me, okay? And number 2, if you are in circles of people, if you're in Discord groups or whatever, or you have a friend group or even just a single friend or whatever who is just overly negative all the time, and this is the way that they get their joy, and you feel, if you ever feel it sapping the joy out of the room or of a conversation, get rid of that person. Either if you want to try to correct it because you feel like this is just a mood that they're in, or that something, or you feel like you can talk to them about other things, either ban a topic, like a lot of families do. They ban politics, right? When you're at the dinner table, ban this topic, and if they accept it, great, that's wonderful. Otherwise, surround yourself with people who want the best for you. Surround yourself with people that are not just constantly trying to tear down whatever you're doing, whatever you're making. You'll be a lot happier with that.
This is me telling you, you know that's not healthy. This is not a recipe or formula to personal happiness. So just be careful because you're walking down a weird road and maybe you want to get on another road.
And you always have the opportunity to. It's okay to be in a slump. It's okay to get caught up in like politics or some extremist movement, or just even get roped into a little bit through normal channels, right? Maybe you had a bad experience with dating, and you kind of get roped into some negative chats about the the sex that you're dating or whatever, and it happens. It happens. But just kind of be introspective, analyze that, and realize that every single second that you live is 1 second less that you get to live. Do you really want to spend that time being angry? Really? Maybe for some people it's yes.
That made me think of I've mentioned here before about not wanting to yuck someone else's yum. So there seem to be people out there that their whole goal in life is
Just bringing people
to
down.
make someone else who's being happy not
Yeah.
be happy anymore. And I was watching Greg on How to Drink. Actually, no, it wasn't How to Drink. It was one of his midnight local shows. And he said something like, "Some people can't seem to have fun if they think other people are having fun too. That the only way they can have fun is to make sure other people aren't having fun, or at the very minimum, not nearly as much fun as they're having." And that kind of made sense to me. And this is where I'm going to talk about being gay, because what does all this have to do with about being gay? Every gay person already knows what I'm
Well,
about
gay means being happy. That's what it has to do, right, Tim?
to say, which is you need to go out and find your own community, your own ways to have fun, because this isn't going to be handed to you. And every gay person realizes this at an early age. They need to find their own people, their own places where they can just relax and have fun. And I think too many people.
I agree with I do agree with it. I'm not gay, so I can't really. What do I really know about it, right? I do have gay family members though, and what I can say is that if you're going to join a community based off of this characteristic of you, and I think that that's fine, that's expected, that's normal. Um, it doesn't mean that these communities are immune to toxic behavior or might have negative views, right? Going to like Alcoholic Anonymous, and I'm not trying to equate being gay with being an alcoholic, but these support communities for people that are undergoing the same things as you, or who have gone through negative experiences that are related to like a common characteristics, can be very helpful. But at the same time, there might be toxic behavior within these communities, or there might be ways that they approach life and to deal with things in ways that might not be healthy. And I think that it's, just know if the community that you're joining is there as to exist as a support group, or is there to exist as a I don't even know how to word this properly. An outlet for hate based on a mutual uh like goal, because like I said, I have multiple gay family members, and I do see some of them that have gotten super deep within this community that I think that they are maybe not viewing life in a very healthy way, and others who are, they're part of this community, but they don't hang out in these spaces that are negative. Maybe that's a better way to put it, is that there are multiple communities that are probably part of the LGBT banner, but that banner is an umbrella that I think still does encompass fringe communities that can be very toxic towards even other members of the same community, just not part of that same smaller one, but also to people outside of that community. And I think that can be very dangerous too. It's just tribalism can sometimes be a very healthy, very helpful thing. If you think of like religion as well, sometimes there are religions that have great communities that they help each other. They perform service work for free, like they'll walk around the highways and pick up trash. And there are some other religious communities or sects of religion that can be very exclusionary and very outwardly aggressive to people that are outside of their communities in some cases. So just know that when you're entering these tribes, these communities, that they can come at a cost, and you should always feel like you are able and welcome to leave that community if it isn't providing you with a healthier mindset or a healthier way of dealing with things in life. Raptor sexual, yeah, that's if you're into me.
People, whether their own family members, their coworkers, their friends, they don't like the idea of someone having fun that they don't approve of, and
Mm-hmm.
they go out of their way and spend lots of time being unhappy themselves because other people are being happy. And while this video is probably unnecessary for my gay viewers, because you already know how to go out and seek fun, what I'm doing here is I'm talking to people who are used to having all their fun handed to them on a silver platter. That everything made in a TV show or a movie or a game was always made for you. And now you're finding like, wait, there are some games coming out where the main protagonist doesn't look like me or act like me, and I have to rage post about that, despite the fact that there are still tons of games out there that are perfect for you.
Yeah, that is weird behavior. I understand, like, if there's a game where you play as, I don't know, let's say there's a game where I play as a lesbian woman, and the story is surrounding experiences as a lesbian, falling in love with another girl. This game clearly was not meant for me. I don't need to be upset about it. I just won't play it, right? Or I play as a African American woman. Like, okay, but if the story isn't about, I don't know, has to do with the experiences of being an African American woman, then why does that matter? What is the point of that? Maybe it's just the demographics of the area in which the game takes place, and therefore it is very expected that you would play as an African American person. So it's really weird. Like, either a game, you can see when a game is meant for you or made for you as in the audience, and when it's not. And if it's not, you don't need to be upset about it. You don't need to scream DEI at the top of your lungs. Just don't play the game because it's not meant for you. That's fine, right? Just don't play the game you don't like. What a radical concept. It is it is weird. And I can even devil's advocate here. I don't like agendas being pushed in games. Okay, if you want to say a message, that's fine. If I am not into your message, don't be upset when I don't play your game. And I see that sometimes from developers, that they make a very controversial message. They get upset that people don't resonate with that message, and then they attack the people that didn't resonate. And I think that this leads to further ostracization of both communities. It kind of pushes people more towards the extremes. But also, I don't think that the peer inclusion of other people is stating support or pushing a message for it, right? Just because you play as a African American woman does not mean that the message of the game is white man bad. And that can't be the first conclusion that you jump to, because that's an absurd, insane conclusion. I don't know, it's just sometimes there is this messaging and you can see that it's clearly what they were trying to say, and that's fine. It's art. You're allowed to make a game with a controversial message. Just know that when you make a game with a controversial message, it is not going to resonate with people who don't agree with that message. And therefore, they're not part of the audience. Just say, we understand that people are not. This is like my message for developers out there to handle this better. Say, we made this game, this is our message. If you don't resonate with this message, we encourage you not to play our game because it really isn't going to be something that is meant for you, but meant for other people. And likewise, for people that this is meant for, play the game, we hope you enjoy it. Don't attack people that don't resonate with this message because you can clearly see that this is not a universally held opinion. I don't know. Maybe that's a radical concept too these days, though. What is bad when an existing IP is changed for no reason just to suit an audience that wasn't already intended? Yeah, I've seen that happen before, and I think that I'm not really a big fan of them remaking existing franchises with clearly intentional changes to characters' sexualities or ethnicities. Why, if you wanted to make something that spoke to this community, why don't you just approach this community and ask them for stories, right? And find the literature or the, if you want to go cultural, find the cultural mythologies and history and make a game about that. I don't like the idea of changing something that is existing just for the sake of pushing these messages. He was changed to black. Yeah, it's just weird. And I don't think that saying it's weird is being racist. It's just, what was the point? What was the point? Nobody compared about Life is Strange having gay themes, all about context. But it's because it was specifically, okay, I have never played Life is Strange, so correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who's played it. I don't think that the messaging of Life is Strange is straight people bad. Maybe I'm mistaken, maybe it is, but if I had to venture a guess, I'm going to put most of my money on betting that that's not the message of and point of that game. It's literally, this is meant for gay people to play because they will empathize and sympathize and understand the story the most. And if you're not gay, you can play it, you might enjoy it, and you might be able to sympathize, but you're not going to be able to empathize because that requires that you have understood and had that experience yourself. It's about life being strange. Okay, yeah. I guess, so is what you're saying is that being gay is strange? I knew it, Athano. Banned.
And it's funny because you're discovering that maybe you have to go look for them, which is what everybody else has been doing their whole life. That you have to actually go find the things that you want. They won't just be delivered to you directly and say, here you go, here it is on a silver platter. So, in short, it's already too late. In shortness,
no,
what I'm telling
Tim, 10 minutes is short. I mean, I turn your videos into like hour and a half long videos sometimes, okay? You are much better at not yapping like me.
telling you is to just find the things you like. Go seek it out and enjoy those things. All the other stuff, the rage playing, the rage watching, the rage viewing, this is dragging you down. You may not realize it, but it really is. It's dragging you down. I hope any of what I said today helps you find what you like and enjoy that thing you like, because it's what worked for me, and I hope it works for you. Anyway, I hope that helps you being happy.
Tim, I'm glad that you're happy. And honestly, I think these were very good recommendations. I see that this has 57 downvotes. I'm sure those are from the people who hate watch. Like I said before, it's like you literally have one life. If we want to go YOLO, fine, YOLO, okay? If you have this one life, you get to choose what you do with it at the end of the day. Why spend a single moment thinking about something that just makes you angry? Why spend your time on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or Blue Sky if all you're going to see is just people being hateful about something? Okay, great. You don't like Trump. Why don't you just live your life, right? You don't see him in the day. You don't walk by him on the streets. He isn't pissing on your lawn. Why don't you just try to, like, be nice with the people around you? You know? Maybe just tune it out. Not much changes when there's different presidents anyway. And if you hate Tim, I don't know why you hate Tim, but if you hate Tim, just don't watch Tim. You have 4.5 lives. I've been infused with a cat as a baby. Nice. And furry. God, I hate furries. No, this was a good video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be happy. Be happy. You know, if you have anything good in your life, just be thankful for what you've got. That's what I can say. I did not make up that quote. That is a wonderful song from, I think, William Devon or whatever. Be thankful for what you've got. That's it. Just be thankful. Just be happy. Good stuff. I might get copyright strike if I play too much of that, though, so we gotta be careful. Either way, thank you for watching that one. I will catch you guys next time on the YouTubes. Really appreciate it. Be happy. Be nice. See you later. Bye-bye, YouTube.